So I'm with this organization for quite some time. I'm working as a senior data architect. So just I would like to hear out your kind of journey, like as a data architect. What are the projects you work? What's your experience? Right? What skills you work majorly?
Yeah, so thrilled to have the opportunity to introduce myself to you today. And as a technical data architect at OTSI, over 14 plus year of progressive experience, I bring a wealth of expertise in the software development, maintenance, and programming for both Windows and web application. And throughout my career, I have demonstrated proficiency in logic and the database designing, as well as the deep understanding on the development lifecycle. So my technical acumen extend to the various programming language and database, such as like MS SQL Server, PostgreSQL, MySQL, and Oracle. In the ETL perspectives, I had about 8 years experience on the ETL, used the tool SSIS, and for the reporting purpose, I used the SSRS. So I had worked much more in the data warehouse concepts. So I had delivered 4 to 5 projects with the data warehouse concept implementation. And now currently I am engaged as a data architect to optimize the agriculture data management system. So from the scratch, I am working in this project as a data modeler, and I am using the Erwin tool. So for this project, I have responsibility to connect with the stakeholders, get requirements, and convert that requirements, business requirement to technical, uh, and develop the database using with the logical models like conceptual model, logical model, and physical data model. So I had a good expertise on this developed modeling, and I am particularly drawn to challenging technology leadership roles that allow me to leverage my skill to drive meaningful. So I lead the team as well. Apart from this technical skills, I have successfully led the project from the conceptual to the implementation, ensurely the time delivery within this budget and scope. And I am passionate about to learning, continuous learning and growth. And so I had also worked on the latest technology like Python and Azure also. And I am confident that my blend of technology proficiency, leadership capabilities, and passion of the innovation makes me strong fit for this role. Yeah, that's it about myself.
Okay.
Thanks for considering my.
So can you just elaborate your data engineering experience? Like you pick up any project, whatever you delivered in your career, like last 5 6 years. Can you elaborate your data engineering experience? What exactly you delivered as a data engineer?
I had delivered one project that on that one on-premise database. We had to move to that in the Azure cloud environments. So I worked on the Azure Data Factory, and I uses the services for the Azure Data Factories and implemented the pipelines as well. And we stored the data in the storage. So I for the data engineering, like just I work to data migration from on-premises to the cloud environments.
Right. What was your involvement? Means as a data engineer, what actually your tasks are in that data pipelines?
My task was as a data architect, we had to just make a plan, project plan, how do we have to integrate from on-premise data to the cloud environment. So documentation or that whatever the on-premises object of database, whatever need to be moved to the that cloud environment, that take all care of these things, this type of activities. That is my major role on that project.
Okay. 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 So how many projects you worked as a data engineer and a data architect in your overall career as of now?
As a data architect, I worked on the 4 projects.
Hmm.
So I have a 5 years experience on the data architect, data modeler.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
and the projects were on four projects I had created design and development databases for the projects.
Okay. Uh, you mentioned you worked on 4 projects as a data architect. So take any one project, whatever you are comfortable. What was your role? What actually technical architecture you designed? Can you explain me end to end?
Yeah, sure. So for this UPAS project, that is a government project that need to be implement the agriculture data, and we have to manage that agriculture data into our system, into our data warehouse. So exactly, I was involved into this project from the sketch. So my roles is to create a database design for this new project. For this, I had used the Advent tool, data modeling tool, and I was responsible to connect with the stakeholders and then get the requirement. Requirement we can get uh, sometime in the BRD, business requirement document. Sometimes we get an email, and sometimes we have a verbally discussion. So once we get the requirement, then we have to uh, split the requirement into the tables as per the analysis, as per the requirement. We have to analyze the requirement, and we have to define the what the entities need to be implemented into the database. So this is the first step that we call as a conceptual modeling. We go through the requirement, we split the requirement, we have to just get what are the entities and what are the attributes need to be implemented into the entities. Then once we get the things, then that we need to be move into the logical model. In the logical model, we have to define the entities and attributes, and then we have to define the relationship between the entities. So we have to define as per the analysis what we can define the entity identify relationship, where we can define the non-identified relationship, and where we can identify define the many-to-many relationship. Once we have to finalize this logical modeling, and it is as required, then we have to move these things to the physical data modeling. My database is in a PostgreSQL, so we have to select the PostgreSQL and uh, get the script, define the scripts as per the our database. So we have to just analyze the script. If there's any changes required or data table or modification, then we have to do this, and then we have to deploy this into our database, or we can send it to the DBA. Then DBA will check this in script, and then it will be deployed into the database. This is our the steps which we follow to design the database. Then we have to check our data model is perfectly working or not. So we have to create an script query as per the data requirement, report requirement. If the data is matched, if our report data is matching, then we can say like it is working fine. And then we have to move it to QA environment to the testing, and do the testing in respect to the data validation, data checks, or data pure lineage. Everything we have to check. We have to check whatever the data we are getting from the sources. In this project, we are getting the data from the multiple sources, and we are using the Python in between to as an ETL, and we just get the source data from our database, and then we have to check all the things whatever required, and then we have to move it to production environment. So this is the flow which I was involved.
Right? It is a more of conceptual, logical, physical model. It is a process. It is a process common for any project. Okay. That is fine. Absolutely fine. Whatever you're explained. So what I need to understand your business requirements. What's your client business requirements? Can you elaborate your 2, 3 top business requirements, what how you transfer into conceptual, logical, physical model? So what are that entities? What I need to understand technical details your for your business requirement. I understand the complete process.
Entities. So see, we are getting the crop,
My,
means this
my
is
my first question, what's your top 3 business requirements, right? Then you pick up any project. I'm not worried any project. You pick up whatever project you delivered, 4 or 5, pick up any project. What are those 3 or 4 business requirements? Then what's your technical model, conceptual, logical, physical? So I want to get the terms in your project, actual project.
okay. So let's I'm just going to explain this Opus project. This is the project to get the data. What are the data we are getting from the vendors? So we are getting the data state-wise, district-wise, sub-district-wise, and village-wise. What the data we are getting the crop data, crop data, crop productivity, crop area, yield. So we are getting the value of the yield, we are getting the value of the area and the production. So these are the measures which we are getting from the vendors, and then same we are also getting from the stakeholders, like we need to uh, uh, this is the data and we need to reflect this data into our portal in the graphical way. So in the graphical way, the UI design team will be design the graphs. That data need to be designed as per the filter criteria. So the data will be reflected into the map and using the Python. So we have the graphical bar chart or the as per the requirement we have to just reflect that data. Okay, this is also we are getting from the business holders, stakeholders. Like this is the chart we need to reflect data into our portal, and data we are getting from the vendors. Vendors are our 3 to 4 vendors, and we are getting that data from the vendors, and we are storing that vendors data into our the staging environment through the Python ETL. Okay, so this is kind of data. So we have in a table structure like the state-wise and district-wise, sub-district-wise. Because see how it is defined here. Because if we are just segregating the data as per the granularity, and granularity is in a selection of the state, district, sub-district, and lower granularity means state, sub-district, and tehsil or village level. So like that. So we have to define the table as well as per the granularity level, and as per the granularity level, we have to storing the data. So that if in the portal we need state-wise data, then state-wise table will be fetch the data. It will be also help to the performance to fetching the data. So that is my approach to keeping the data. And in respect to this requirement, we have implemented the modeling as I define the process. Can you elaborate, or I need to explain much more into the depth of the table?
What are the sources? Whatever the project you explained, how many sources are there?
4 to 5 sources are there.
Why 4 to 5 sources just for state or this just crop data? It should be only one source. Why are you taking the data from multiple sources? What is the reason for that?
Sources means we are getting the data from the multiple sites. Okay, suppose that if you check in the Google, then you can find the crop data from the multiple sites. Okay, so we are getting the data from the Pradhan Mantri Safal Bima Yojana, and we are getting the data from the NSSO, and so and the vendors which we are providing which we are getting the data, that is the sources. From the sources we are not getting the all type of data. Suppose that one source will give me the state-wise data, another source will give me the district-wise data, another source will give me the sub-district-wise data. It is not like that we are getting the same type of data. It is not like that. From the different vendors, we are getting the different granularity level data. So in our the data warehouse, we are the
Understood. So who is entering source side data? Means who is updating the data from source side?
who is updating the data.
Means source, is it only one
ETL.
time updates or every day someone need to update?
No. It's as per the business. It define the frequency. Like we are getting the change data weekly wise or monthly wise, or sometimes we are getting, and these data we are getting through the API. Okay, so we are merging the API and we are getting the data from the API as per the frequency, and we are inserting the data into the staging environment, and that data we have kept into the staging environment for the further validation, and that data we have to accumulate into the data warehouse as per the business requirement. We have to just do the business, implement the business logic. Like for an example, we have an
Understood. Sorry to cut you. Yeah, I got it. So that's fine. So what is your understanding? What is the understanding the difference between data lake and data warehouse? I think you work majorly in Azure, right? What are the different Azure services for data lake and data warehouse? What is your understanding? Why do we need? What is the difference?
Yes, obviously. See, data warehouse. We are designing the database as a data warehouse where we know the business requirement. Okay, so as per the business requirement, we have do the transforming into the data and kept the transformed data, integrated data into the data warehouse, because we already know the business right now at this moment. Okay, so we are just to keep the integrated data into the data warehouse. If the scenario is like that, we are not knowing the business requirement, further we can go through the source data and then we have to implement the business. So for that data, we have to just keep all the source data into the data lake that we call as a data lake. So data lake has all the data, raw data, so that we can further implement the logic, whatever we are getting the logic need to be implemented in the into our business requirement, into our application. So this is the difference. Difference is we are storing the raw data into the data lake, and we are storing the integrated data into the data warehouse.
Yeah, understood. So what are the different data lakes you worked on so far? What are the different data warehouses you worked on so far?
So in the data warehouse, we have to just implement the data mart as well. Data mart is nothing that we are splitting the data warehouse as per the department wise, or as per.
No, I'm asking what are the data warehouses you worked on so far? That's the question. So, and what are the different data lakes you worked on so far?
different types of data lake. Not getting
What data warehouses you worked on so far? Like Azure provides some data warehouse. What are that different data warehouses you worked on so far? That is what my trying to understand.
in the cloud perspective you are asking, I think.
Whatever means in your whole experience, what are the different data warehouses you worked so far?
Like see, the data warehouse, we have to implementing the dimensional modeling, and we have created that fact tables and dimensional modeling, and work with the star schema, and also work on the snowflake schema where it's required. So in this way, I had worked. I think you are asking in respect to the Azure.
Whatever. I mean, I'm not really asking anything particular. I'm asking only a simple question. What are the data warehouses you worked in your career? That's what my question. Very simple.
Yeah. So we had worked on the data warehouse where we have created the fact tables and dimensional table, and worked as in a schema like an star schema. So, so we have
Okay.
got in.
Got it. Yeah. So, what are the some real-time project challenges you come across, right, in your complete career, particularly Azure and this data architecture projects? Can you just give me some two, three? What are those real-time project challenges you have come across so far?
Challenges. Sometimes we are facing the challenges once the when we are getting the change request frequently from the stakeholders. So in that case, we have faced any challenges. Suppose that we are getting some data as per the source, and we define the data structure, and we define the data type, and further it will be changed. It will be changed, then we have to face to integrate the things as per the current requirements into our data warehouse. So in these kinds of changes we have to face in the implementation in the architect level, and most of the time we are facing only these kinds of changes when we are getting the changes from the stakeholders, and already implemented data we have to make the changes uh, which, which need to be work on the huge amount of data, uh, updating or creating new column or updating the existing column sometimes. So these kinds of challenges we faced.
Okay. So you mentioned in your resume majorly you worked on Azure related, right? All Azure data architecture and all. So what is your understanding on Medallion architecture? So what actually your understanding of Medallion architecture? Have you ever worked on Medallion architecture?
Actually, honestly, I didn't work much more in Azure project. As I said, I worked on one project that need to be migrate from the on-premises data to the Azure environments, and that's it. I have not much more into the Azure environment.
Okay. Okay. So any idea what is SCD? Do you have any idea on what is SCD in data warehousing projects? SCD type 1, type
SCD,
2? Mhm.
yeah, yeah. SCD is slowly changing dimension. So
So
this
have you
SCD,
ever worked on these kind of requirements, SCD requirements in data architecture projects?
yeah, yeah. So we had implementing the SCD where in the dimensional tables where we are keeping the historical data and managing the current data. So this is like three type of SCD, 1, 2, and 3. So
So
finally we
what
are
SCDs, what type of SCD you implemented in your project? means you have worked
SCD2.
on. Okay, so what
Yeah.
is that? Why client need that SCD type 2? Can you just elaborate? What is that requirement? Means why client need that requirement? What is that requirement? Can you just elaborate, and what is the solution you have worked on?
See, requirement is like if in the table, in the master table, where the changes required oftenly, so we have to track the changes, what the changes we had, like in our Indigo client table. So the PNR, we are getting the customer PNR is there. We have defined the customer common data, or also we have defined the PNR will be also the employee data as well. So if something which attribute is required to be captured further, so we have to keep that data, historical data, like if one employee is working in the Gurgaon location right now, and he in future he moved to another location, foreign location, then or another district. So we have to keep that track data. We have for tracking purpose, we have to keep that data, that the previous data is in a Gurgaon location, and now this is in a current location. So on, we have to just keep the historical data for the further in tracking purpose. So this is the scenario which we have implemented into the Indigo clients. And for this, we have to just implemented this SCD2 into the table. Like we have kept the historical data into the one table, and the current data, which is reflected into the our main table. Okay, so we have to just keep the we have to maintain the flag as well, like the active flag or the inactive flag, which is the current record that is an active, and the rest of that record which is an inactive. For tracking purpose, actually, for tracking purpose, for audit purpose, we need to implement the STD.
Okay, okay, okay. So you also mentioned in your profile that Snowflake and Databricks. So can you just elaborate what is that experience means? What type of requirements you worked on Snowflake and Databricks?
No, Snowflake means doesn't have any project. We have knowledge, means good knowledge, Databricks and Snowflake, but I didn't have any hands-on experience on this one. So last year, I just completed my core data science course that has an Snowflake and Databricks. So we had knowledge.
Okay, fine. What about Databricks? Same thing?
Yeah, same thing.
Okay.
I eager to get an opportunity to work on this new technology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I am always going to learn a new thing.
What are that? Okay, architecture, I got it. So what are that coding languages you are comfortable? Means programming side, what is your strength?
Yeah, I think I believe I am in a good expertise in the SQL development programming language.
Okay. Any other programming languages you worked on in your career other than
Yeah,
SQL?
PostgreSQL. Right now, working on this Python on the last 6 months.
Okay. Okay. Only just one question, technical in coding. So joins is the very important concept in coding, right? What is your understanding on joins? Means what different type of joins you work in your career?
Yeah, sure. So there are joins like we got on the inner joins, left auto joins, right auto joins, full auto joins, self joins. So let me explain one by one. So for the inner joins, we have to get the matching records from the one table to the another table to the second table. What are the we are getting the matching records on the business ID